class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Watagas.
How are you all this morning?
We are very well, thank you. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, just like you all. Can sit down. Now, as usual, we always have a theme or a phrase for each lesson that we have. Sometimes a theme or phrase can have 2 to 3 lessons. Others, we have one lesson that could have a theme or phrase of its own. Previous lesson we had a different one. This time we also have a different one as well. And we have the theme or the phrase that says relevant resources, successful projects. As we are talking about projects, community projects, and where cooperative projects is built in community projects, we have that phrase that can lead us to talking about or talking more about resources. And I'd like the class and also the students in the receiving schools, if you can, somebody from the class who could try to share with the rest of your friends in the school or even the ones in this class. If somebody can share with us your thoughts on relevant resources, successful projects. Okay, if you need to talk about it quickly with your friends, do so, and we'll have someone to tell us about your thought on that phrase or theme. Thank you. We have Rachel. We'll have Tulanga after Rachel. Yes, Rachel.
Relevant resources, successful projects. To my own understanding, relevant is to do whatever you do with your own bare hands, and you use that resources to do a successful project.
Very good, thank you. So those are Rachel's thoughts on that phrase or theme. Thank you. Let's have Tulanga.
To my own understanding, it means that when you use the right kinds of resources to build houses or like that, you'll have the job successfully done.
Very good, thank you. Anybody else besides those two? Okay, we have Quarry.
If we use the right resources, the project we want to carry out will be successful.
Very good. So whatever you have all given, the three of you, those thoughts you have shared with us, and even students out there in the receiving schools, whatever thoughts you have shared with your friends are very good. Now, it tells us that in order to do that project successfully, to get it completed, we have to have relevant, the right types of resources. And without resources, we cannot get whatever projects we need to do done well and completed as expected. Cooperative projects. What are cooperative projects? What are cooperative projects? Now, don't forget, cooperative projects are actually community projects. However, something makes that community project becomes a cooperative project. If I can have someone from the class, Jennifer.
Task or activities where two or more groups of people work together as a team, assisting and supporting each other in whatever way it is possible.
Very good, thank you. Now, Shane, if you can just put together community projects and cooperative projects. Thank you.
Community project is when people take part in the community, but when other outsiders join with the community projects, becomes a cooperative project.
Very good. Good explanation. Thank you. Types of resources. Now, like I've just said earlier, in order to get that project successfully done, there has to be relevant or right types of resources. Now, in this activity, we will be identifying the types of resources that are needed in carrying out or in doing community projects. We have here it says types of resources. Now let's basically look at here we are talking about types of resources needed for community projects. This is not talking about resources needed for cooking like we have done in the previous term, or resources are needed in sewing like we have done in the first term. This has to do with community projects. Now I'd like us to brainstorm quickly on the types of resources that you think could be used or are needed in community projects. Let's have the first one. Thank you, Nanadai.
Money.
Money. Most importantly, money. Without this, you cannot be able to get whatever you need, especially things that you cannot find in the environment or in the nature where you live. So money is very, very important. You have to look, besides planning your project, you have to consider money. It's one of those factors to be considered when we are planning projects. Any others? Thank you, Adrian.
Tools.
Good. Example? So we can say which is tools. Funds, money, tools, and equipment come under technical. Anything, any more? Any other resources? Think about it. If you want, discuss about it quickly. Types of resources needed, especially in doing community projects. Okay, let's have Orvin.
People.
Let's see. Now, people come under the resources known as human resources. Okay, we have one, that's two. Human resources, in here we have people, could be the people where the community is, and also people who have the skills, the knowledge, that they can pass them on to those who don't have that knowledge or that skill. So through community projects, people are able to pass on whatever knowledge and skills they have to those who don't have them. Any more resources? We have funds, that's money, technical resources, that's talking about tools and equipment, and human resources, people within the community, people who have good knowledge and skills that can be passed on to others. Now, I think that is what we have. We will come to find out some more of the types of resources that are needed. Now, if I can have Gail to read for us what is so important to consider about community projects.
Community projects depend so much
on having the right types of resource and also people with good technical skills.
Continue.
The goal of a project can not be achieved if resources are not available.
Right. Now here it tells us how important resources are. Resources are very important. In order for that project to succeed, to be completed, we must have the right types of resources. We had a look at 3 of them already during our brainstorming exercise. We have funds, that has to do with money, technical resources that have to do with tools and equipment, human resources that have to do with the people within the community, and people who have the knowledge and skills that could be passed on to the others. Types of resources. We have one, it says natural, that has been missed out in our brainstorming part of the lesson. I'd like the class to have that copied as well as the students in the receiving schools. Things required that can be obtained or can be found in nature. Now, especially our friends out there, those of you students in the receiving schools who are in the rural areas where you have things around you, that you can use a lot of those things instead of getting things from the shops that may cost some money. Now, in our case, where our school is, it's a bit difficult for us, especially to obtain things from nature or things from, actually from nature. Now, next one is technical resources. That's another type of resources. And I'd like, Gima, if you can read that for us, please. Technical resources.
Tools and equipment needed for the project activity.
Very good. Tools and equipment needed for the project activities. Any tools or any type of equipment that is used for that particular project comes under that category technical resources. We also have funds, which is money, and also human resources. Funds, Shane, if you can read it for us, please.
Money needed to purchase required materials that aren't available.
Very good. If you cannot obtain whatever materials that you need in nature, then, or in the environment where you live, then you can get it from the shop. We have to consider money when we are planning for whatever projects we need to do. Okay, our next one is human resources. If I can have Linda to read it for us, please.
People with relevant knowledge and skills, especially those with good technical skills.
Very good. When it talks about human resources, now I've told you earlier in the lesson that human resources, we mustn't forget those people within the community. But besides these people that we have in the community, we also have to have people with relevant knowledge and skills, especially those who have a good, better technical skills on whatever has to be done within that project. Now, so basically, all the resources come under 4 categories. They come under 4 categories. Let me have somebody to go through quickly what those categories are, not to describe each of those categories, but just to name those different resources. They come under 4 categories. If I can have someone, Tricia, just to go quickly, name me those 4 categories, types of resources.
Natural, technical, funds, and human.
Very good. Natural, technical, funds, and human. So all these different types of resources, they come under those four main categories. Now, we have a lesson activity. And a lesson activity, groups 1, 2, and 3. You will be doing the first activity, groups 1, 2, and 3. Now, I'd like you to check with each other to see that your answers are not the same. So groups 1, 2, and 3, you will be doing activity 1. I'd like you to take note of that. Group 4, yours is going to be activity 2. Now, you are to list natural resources needed for the identified project. Now, what is our identified project? What is our identified project? If I can have someone to tell me. Yes, Paul?
Outdoor seats.
Very good. Outdoor seats. So, group 4, you have to list natural resources needed for the identified project. Now, in the case of our students out in the receiving schools, you will find that if you are unable to purchase needed materials from the shops, then you can always use whatever you have in nature. Now, for our friends in this school, you are living in the city, but if you can think about it, you put yourself in the situation as your friends out there in the rural areas, and I'd like you to list down those resources. Okay, take note of the activity you are going to do, group 4. Is somebody getting it written down? Group 5, yours is activity 3. Group 5, yours is activity 3. Take note of that. List other resources that could be purchased. Don't forget, this has to do with the identified project. Group 5, I hope you are listening. Group 6, yours is the 4th activity. You are to write down the names of tools and equipment that could be used in the project. Once again, the identified project. Okay, and group 7, yours is the last question, question 5. 5, identify possible human resources needed for the project. I'm once again repeating, the project is the identified project. Now you are going to think about the human resources. People with good technical knowledge on that project that we will be doing. I'd like you to think about that and have that listed. Now, if I can have the runners to come and get your papers and markers. Use my marker so I'll get it back quickly. They are all okay. That's okay. We'll see that after.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
I've done brief explanation on each of your activities, so please, once you have your paper and a marker, I'd like you to discuss your answer quickly and have the recorder to record your answers or what you came up with.
Just write it all, yeah.
Yes, and which one are you working on? Question 3. Form. No. Look at it carefully. They are meant. Now you have to think carefully. You are actually looking at the other resources that could be purchased from the shops, and it can be bought. Purchase meaning bought with money. Yeah. Now group 3, they're actually looking at things, resources that can be obtained from nature. Yours is not from nature. Yours purchase meaning they have to be bought. So you have to think about it, okay? And it has to do with project is outdoor seats. So think about it. The resources for the project. Yeah, it's a project you are basically looking at. So like our project, identified project, is outdoor seats. So if you look at the question there that says list other resources that could be purchased, especially for the seats. Think about it. In our situation like now, you should be in a better position to think about it. Like the question 2, that is for those like your friends who are out in the rural areas, things that they cannot purchase because they don't live close to big shops and other places, so they have to get them from the bush or from the environment they live in. So you have to think carefully about the project, the identified project. The identified project is the outdoor seat, so think about it. What type of resources do we actually need for this? If you only come up with one, that's okay, or 2. And then you just have that one written down. Okay? Where only part of tools and equipment. These are equipment, tools. You are not doing tools and equipment. You are looking at other resources that are not tools, that are not equipment. And you may come up maybe only with 1 or maybe with 2. You have to talk about it, think about it. So don't get yourself mixed up with tools and equipment. That's different. You are looking at tools, equipment, and resources that you cannot get them from chest. Okay, have I made myself clear? Okay. You people okay? Okay. Think more about it. I can think of more than one. Yes, Harold. Where?
Which one?
Yeah, you are doing number 1. Group 1, 2, and 3. You are to discuss and write 2 advantages of having relevant resources. That is for group 4. But whatever you write, you check with group 1, check with group 3 that you are not writing the same. If you cannot come up with only one, that's okay. I'll accept that. You know what you are doing? You are writing just good things about having resources. So, but make sure whatever answer you have, same. So if you have written yours, go and check. Do you have? So you don't have the same answers. So maybe someone can go over and tell group 1 and 2 what you are having, so we don't have the same ones there, see? So we all have different groups. Okay, someone will have to go quickly and let your friends know before they have the same one written. Check with group 1 and to tell them this is what we have written. This is to groups 1, 2, and 3. You are to check each other's, okay, each other's to see that you are not writing the same answer, same advantages. And also, if you cannot come up with 2, then I will accept 1 from your group. Bamboo. That's not the correct spelling. How do you spell bamboo?
B-A-M-B.
Okay, you did not help your friend. Okay. Now, somebody who is going to present, you will have to tell us. This one you are saying timber. It's supposed to be, you are actually looking at nature, listing resources that you get from nature, what is already there. So when you are saying timber, what type of timber are you talking about? Can you get timber from the bush, from nature?
Yeah.
Okay, then you could have here, say bush timber. That would be better than just having timber. Here? Now somebody will have to, you have to explain about bamboo, and you have bamboo rope. So what's the bamboo rope for? Okay, then whoever is going to present, you will have to tell your friends about that bamboo rope. Okay, you have to change your 1 to 8. Get that one done.
Yeah, change it to 8, yes.
Yes? Timber and gravel. Okay, that's okay. Gravel, you are not going to get it from the shop, but gravel is going to be bought, see? So that is a resource that can be purchased. Purchasing is not only from the store. Don't forget. You see timber, are you going to buy the timber from the store? No. So it can be anything that is to be bought. So that's okay, gravel.
No, they might be timber from bush. That one is
Okay, good. Okay, we get ready. I do not wish to have the same person that we had from your group in the previous lesson to present. This time I'd like somebody different from your group to present what you have. And we will start with group 1. Group 1, 2, and 3, yours is on advantages. So if we can have group 1, please come out quickly with your presentation. Thank you. You can get what and put it up there. We have Patricia to share with us the advantage they have in having relevant resources.
Advantage of having relevant resources is long-lasting projects and successful projects. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. It says long-lasting and successful. Thank you. Group 2. Okay, we'll go to group 3 and come back to group 2. Let's have group 3, please. Patrick. Once again on advantages.
It makes job easier. It makes the job successful at the end.
Very good, thank you. We'll go to group 4. Group 4, yours is with resources that can be obtained in nature. And this is especially talking about the identified project. Come over here.
Group 4, we came up with dancers timber from the bush for the forms, and bamboo rope to hold the timber and bamboo frame.
Okay, good. They have bush timber. They also have a bamboo rope where they said they can use the rope to tie the seats together. Thank you, group 4. Let's have group 5, please. Group 5, yours is still with resources. However, resources that are to be purchased or bought?
We came up with two answers, and they are timbers and gravels.
Okay, timbers and gravel that can be purchased. Still on resources, tools and equipment. Next group, tools and equipment that could be used especially in the identified project. Group 6. Put yours there and you stand on this side.
Tools and equipment that could be needed in the project is hammer, nail, measuring tape, spade, saw, timber, and paint.
Okay, I'd like us to have a look at the list of tools and equipment our friends have. Can somebody see something that is not supposed to be there? One of our resources that's not supposed to be there? Yes, Atulanga. What is it?
Spade.
Spade is a tool, it's equipment. Okay, let's say Brendan. Look closely.
Paint.
Paint, it's in the right place. I'll have the last one, Raymond.
Timber.
Timber. Okay, here we are talking about tools and equipment. Now, actually, sorry, with Brendan, Brendan said paint. Paint is not supposed to be in there, and also timber too. But the others are all tools or could be equipment. Thank you. Let's have group 7, human resources needed for this project. And group 2, you should get ready with yours. Put it over there and you stand on this side. Now, group 7, they're going to share with us, or they're going to tell us people who have the relevant knowledge and skills, especially to do with our project, which is on outdoor seats. Let's have Rachel to let us know what they have come up with.
We are to identify possible human resources needed for the project, and we've come up with one, and that's people with relevant skills, especially those with good technical skills.
Okay, good, thank you. Now here they say people with relevant skills, especially those with good technical skills. Now I'd like the class and even the students out in the receiving schools, what type of people do you think can help, especially in this project, construction or constructing outdoor seats? Yes, let's have a junior, please. Pass it down. It's okay. Pass it down.
Carpenters.
Very good. See, that is the type of answer I really needed. I needed to know the type of people, like Junior has said, carpenters. Carpenters have a better knowledge, good technical knowledge and skills because they are able to build things. They can be people that we can use to help us in the construction of the outdoor seats, which is our project for this term. Any others besides carpenters? Any other human resources that we can use besides carpenters? Anybody else besides the carpenters? Thank you, Adrian.
Architects.
Yeah, those people who deal with things like those who are able to make out plans. Now, to be able to do the right things, we have to know how to do the correct measurement. where to place whatever we need in and all that. We need people like that. So those are the type of resources we are talking about, human resources. Now let's go through quickly back to what we have covered so far, especially with resources. What are natural resources? What are natural resources? Let's say Trisha. What are natural resources?
Things required that can be obtained or can be found in the nature.
Very good, thank you. The next type of resources is human resources. Human resources, Helen?
People with relevant knowledge and skills, especially those with good technical skills.
Very good, thank you. Now, the other type of resources is technical resources. Okay, let's have Messi.
Tools and equipments for the project activities.
Good, thank you. If you can pass that mic over to Carrot, and he will tell us something about funds. Funds is also resources needed.
The money needed to purchase required materials that aren't available.
Good, thank you. Now, this time we don't have a key phrase, we have a key word. I'd like someone to tell me what you think our key word is. Okay, let's have Patrick.
Resources.
Resources. Good, so our key word is resources. Now, if you have a close look at the pictures there, maybe you will be thinking, why do we have all those people there? And why do we have that place there with coconut trees and all that? Now, the picture that has the coconut trees and all that shows us one of the type of resources that is natural. Okay, whatever we can obtain in nature. We also have the other one that has human resource and also natural resource in there. Now, our next lesson is going to be on guest speaker. We will be having a guest speaker. And teachers in a receiving school, you know well that making a living consists of commerce, the subjects commerce, agriculture, and basic technology. Now, in the first 3 terms, we had something to do with agriculture and with basic technology. But I believe within those programs that we have followed, at least we had some commerce in it because our students were able to buy things, and buying things are actually using money, and that has to do with commerce. Now, our reason for having a guest speaker from one of the banks is at least we have something to do with commerce, so our students are able to know what the banks do to at least contribute to community development. And with that, good morning class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Receiving schools, here's your reference for the next lesson. Strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and reference.